Morning all. How are we all doing? Morning, Martin, Amy, Steve, Ian, Evil, Danny, Christian, Kennelly, Figinia, JC, Joe, Ismet, Mohammed. Where is everybody this morning? There's only 43 in here. Everybody's disappeared. Friday. It's always quiet on a Friday. Morning, Fahad. So, today is a no news day. Nothing going on today. It's a bank holiday in Japan. We may get some yen movement. We'll have to wait and see. So far, nothing's moved overnight. So nothing exciting to report as yet. What the hell's going on with my pen? That's crashed. Good. Yeah, so nothing going on today at all. We've got Waller speaking. We've had Waller speaking this morning. We'll go through that in a minute. And we've got the German business climate this morning at 9. That's it. So there's absolutely nothing to report today. Yesterday was massively turbulent with obviously all the PMI figures. Not really any direction on anything yesterday off of PMIs. We had lots and lots of volatility, lots of volume, lots of whipsaws, but nothing really moved again. So same story as usual. Retail sales came out down on the New Zealand dollar overnight. But again, nothing much to report. So there's no ADR so far this morning. Nothing's hit ADR, as you can see. New Zealand dollar had a little bit of a rally, ever such a slight move to the upside overnight. That's it. So nothing's moved, nothing's happened. So dull as dishwater. A little bit more yen weakness crept in overnight, ever so slight. Nothing particularly exciting to report home about there either. US dollar yen has just broken, CAD yen has just broken yesterday's high. US dollar hasn't moved so far. So this is what we're watching, the US dollar, to see if we break that last week's high, basically. We'll have a look at the news, but yeah, as you can see, there's nothing moving at the minute. So, morning, Ryan. Morning, day trader. It's time, Mark Gregors. So don't forget to hit the thumbs, or rather, use your fingers to hit the thumbs with your mouses. Why is my computer so slow this morning? Spinning wheel of death. Something wrong with my machine this morning. It's not very responsive, let's say. I don't know. Weird. So just wanted to quickly cover the news from last night. So Harker was speaking yesterday, last night. So there's quite a few bits and pieces came out of him. We had some more news overnight as well. So we may be near the point of cutting rates, unsure when this will happen. So again, a little bit woolly there. Recent CPI data shows uneven progress of lowering inflation. So it's not coming down as fast as they wanted it to, which is why we put the rate decrease back to potentially June, although they have just said something different about that. There was nothing from Japan overnight. If markets loosen financial conditions too much, the Fed will have to weigh that, i.e. watching the data. A May rate cut is possible. I won't take it off the table. A May rate cut is not a current forecast, but they are thinking maybe May, June, which we know. So it's just confirming that. Close to cutting, just give us a couple more meetings, i.e. March and April. Then we'll look at it in May. So it's all pretty much the same stuff. There's nothing from Japan that I could see scanning through the news. So nothing from Suzuki or Ueda overnight. It is a bank holiday, but there is nothing exciting going on there. So we'll wait and see what happens this morning with the yen, whether we get any movement, but I'm not sure we're going to get much today. Holzman has just said this morning he doesn't see any circumstances for the ECB to cut before the Fed. So that's kind of reinforcing that the euro will not move until June. So it's virtually always the US is the one to go first. So they're the first to increase interest rates. They're the first to decrease interest rates. So we are always lagging the US. Every other country typically tends to lag the US. So what we're waiting for is what Holzman is saying is we're waiting for the Fed to cut rates. And as soon as the Fed cut theirs, we will all cut ours. So it's not unusual. So there was quite a lot of talk overnight, but there's nothing overnight that we don't already know. So again, there's no news. So it's going to be a no news day today. So we're literally hanging on the banks to see if they make any moves. It's not quite the end of the month. End of the month is next Thursday. So next week is the last week of the month. So we shouldn't get any massive volatility for end of month sell-offs and profit take moves. So I think today is going to be a little bit of a sideways one, but we'll wait and see. So we'll go through RSIs and ADRs. I've put a load of drawdown controls on today. So I'm getting out of some of this squeeze, got to, because it's just not going anywhere at the minute. So I'll go through those in a minute. Morning, Julian. Evil, it's Friday for your computer as well. Yeah, it needs some rest, definitely. It's been doing back tests all night. That's probably what's upset it. Morning, Dougal. Morning, Evans. Morning, Monkey. So ADRs, nothing to look at today. It's going to be a nice short stream today. Nothing to look at on ADRs today. There's nothing to look at on the weeklies that we haven't already seen. So the Euro CAD we looked at weekly. That was that trade there that I'm already out of. So that was your weekly extension. It was also a 125 ADR. So that one I'm already out of. New Zealand dollar CAD. It's sat there. So we rallied up to the weekly range. We haven't gone anywhere. Sideways. This is again another great example of what I keep going on about this at the moment. The market is just doing that and that. We're not getting market structure anywhere. It's just hideous movement, indecision everywhere. New Zealand dollar Swiss, that's still rallying at the moment. The Swiss franc's still getting caned. Really in trouble, the Swissy at the minute. Just can't seem to find any strength anywhere. As you can see by the Euro Swiss, which is putting up at the moment. So that's your ADRs. There's nothing so far, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get any hits today. We'll just have to wait and see if anything moves any further. Monthlies, as you can see, there's only three. We've got the Euro Swiss, which you know has been rallying, the New Zealand Swiss, which has been rallying, and the New Zealand dollar yen. So the New Zealand dollar has been the strongest mover really this month, and the yen has been the weakest. Hence, that has moved the furthest. So very good mean reversion opportunity on this New Zealand dollar yen. Lovely leg to pull back on there, and potentially the entire move at some point. But these guys need to wake up. So they're not at the moment. So there's nothing on ADRs. RSIs, you've got nothing either, totally flat today. So nothing to look at on the hourlies at the moment. Everything's hovering somewhere between the 40 to 60 range pretty much. There's nothing really getting close to any extension anywhere. Closest thing we've got is the pound yen. Nothing else. So pound yen is, we're on the pound yen at the moment. It's extended on the 4 hour. We're still up above that 70 level. So looking for a pullback either on that leg or on the entire thing, or on that. As we know, the yen could well just come screaming down if they decide to do some intervention. It's not unheard of. You know, Suzuki and Ueda, we've had bank holidays before, and all of a sudden Suzuki and Ueda have come out in Financial Juice and said something. You're like, hang on a minute, it's the middle of the night over there and it's a bank holiday. We are still watching FX moves. So they're still on the ball. If that US does decide it wants to pop today, they will probably say something. So keep your eyes peeled on Financial Juice today, just in case. But there's nothing there apart from the pound yen and the New Zealand dollar yen as well. 4 hour still extended. Look at that leg. So that is a very possible retest on the way back down. We've got to come back down and retest this 24.72 zone, even if we're going to continue to rally. It's going to need a pullback before it can get a new leg in. It's going to need a rest to recuperate before it drives further. So, morning, Annabelle. Me. So, we've got these squeezes on the Swiss franc and the yen at the moment. So, what I'm doing, this is in too much drawdown, and it's not produced enough profit this month. These yen, it's the yen basically. It's just not getting any life. So I've read the yen wrong this month. I was expecting them to do something basically, but I should really have learned that the Japanese are all that and no action, which is normal. So I've just misread it this month. So got too much drawdown on the US dollar yen and the pound yen. So this is in 20% of drawdown at the moment, the account, and 12% of that is those two pairs. So the rest of it, I couldn't give a monkey's about. It's all fine. Nothing's over 2%, apart from New Zealand dollar yen, which is creeping up a little bit now as well. So everything else is just exposure, which is normal. So US dollar yen, I've got some stops in place. If it pushes any further today, I'm out. So I'm going to do 2 or 3 Ks worth of drawdown control. So whenever you do drawdown control, you always do it below the line, which is there. That's the average. The average on this is the thing that's really frustrating about these yen pairs at the moment. My average is 125 ADR. That's achievable with a news event. That's achievable with a strong push from the banks. That's achievable with absolutely anything. I'm not looking for an intervention move. I'm just looking for a pullback. It's just not pulling back. It's just moving and sideways. That's all we get. Sideways, move, sideways. Nothing is moving properly, or normally, I should say. There is no proper. It's just what we're used to. And obviously, this is absolutely killing me with swaps as well at the moment. So that's partly why the drawdown is so big. I've got over $1,000 worth of swaps running in it. So so today, if it pushes any further, I'm taking positions off. So this one here, I'm probably going to use, I'm going to go that one there. So that one there is coming off this morning. And I took a position yesterday because it didn't look like the EA was going to trigger. And then we got another little push up and the EA managed to get a trade on. So this is a duplicate trade. So I'm taking that one off as well. So that's going to do, that's $400. That's going to be somewhere in the region of 2. So that's about $600 odd. I'm taking off New Zealand dollar yen. Actually, no, I don't need to take that much off the New Zealand dollar yen, do I? What's the drawdown on that? That's right. I'm just going to cancel that off. Whoop, one sec. So I'm just going to take my additional off because I don't want to get overexposed. So I'm going to take a couple of $100 off that. US dollar yen. This is way too high, way too high. So if this rallies today, I'm taking some off of this as well. So there's quite a few positions I've got here, as you can see. I'll just take those off just so I can show you what I'm doing. So average on this is miles away. I'm 250 ADR away from getting out. Yeah, it's just same thing. So up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways. We're not getting a pullback on anything. Nothing is pulling back. So I've got to take some of this size off. And as you can see, initial position was all the way back here, back in January. Yeah, and this thing has not pulled back sufficiently since then. So that initial position's coming off. That's going to cost me just shy $750. That's coming off above the weekly high. And I'm also going to take this one off here, which is just below the average. That's going to cost another $400 odd. Other than that, that will probably do on that one. So that's going to take roughly $1,000 or so off of that. I'm also going to reduce down the pound yen, and I will obviously see what happens. But this obviously got push. I want to push above that high, basically. Pound yen, same story. Taking off if we push any further today. We're testing yesterday's high. If yesterday's high breaks, we're going to run because it's an all-time high. So I'm taking off some up there as well. So again, these positions are really old. So that one all the way at the bottom there, that's going to be $500. And I'm taking off that one down there, which is going to cost me another $500. There. So if we break today up there, taking another K off of that. Can't do anything with it. It's too much. You can't withstand this with this drawdown, basically. So, which is going to wipe out the month, unfortunately, on H1M5. But it happens. We have losing months. This is one of them, unfortunately. So it's not yet, but obviously, if it rallies further, I'm not going to sustain any more DD on it. So, so that's that one. ADR reversals. This account, I didn't see this account get this high last year at all. It's 27%. That's ridiculous. Far too high. Bank 13% this month. So again, it's got to have some drawdown control done. So Euro Swiss, I think the reason I didn't see it this high is because it was doing auto DD control, because I'm doing it manually. It's just looking worse than it is. But so Euro Swiss taking some off at the highs there. So again, some of these lower positions down here, anything below the line, going to reduce and take losses today. So Euro Swiss is one. That, can't remember. I've already put the stops in place up here. So I've got one there and I've got one above the monthly high. CAD's Aussie dollar Swiss, I'm taking one off of that. CAD Swiss, I'll be taking one off of that up here. That one's not quite as bad, so I'm just giving that a little bit more room to move. Pound Swiss, I haven't put that on yet. So there's two positions there, too close together. So one of those is coming off. In total, again, if we push up, that one will come off. And pound yen as well. I put one on that? Not yet. So I'm going to reduce that down as well. I'm just taking full positions off because it's easier. And that's it on that. So the majority of this drawdown is 4 pairs, basically. So just got to reduce the load on it, basically, to get some of that off. I've got $4,000 to play with for DD control. So I'm not using all of it, but got to use some of it to keep on top of it. I might put auto DD control back on. The problem I've got at the moment is what I'm not used to, is managing 3 different portfolios. I'm not keeping on top of drawdown control anywhere near as I usually do, because usually I'm watching one portfolio like a hawk. At the moment, I'm watching 3 portfolios partly. So I'm not getting on top of this as much as I used to. So it's nice to have the diversification, but equally the job is 3 times harder than it normally is. Hedging. I don't know if anybody remembers last year that. I don't remember seeing it at 40% last year. But then again, this was doing automatic drawdown control last year, wasn't it? So this is the reason these numbers are bigger now, is because there's no auto DD control done. So again, same story with this. New Zealand dollar yen. You can see, got stops in place. Going to start just taking full positions off, using some of this 35% profit this month just to release some of these bigger ones. So New Zealand dollar yen, New Zealand dollar Swiss. There's one up there. So anything that's basically over 4% in DD is getting the treatment today. So if this, there you go, it's just about to stop out on the pound yen. So anything that pushes today is coming off. Got to get rid of some of this. This isn't normally how I do DD control. It's normally done as we go, but I haven't been doing it that way this time. With these accounts. So, and obviously this is the first time I've run this one. So Euro Swiss as well. So that one, again, if we break the highs today, one's coming off. If we break the monthly high today, 2 coming off. Yeah, so just going to get rid of some of this DD with some of this profit. So yeah, squeeze month. But nothing we can do about that. It happens. Part of the job. Morning, Chucks. Morning, Elliot. What do you think about GU? I'll have a look at GU. Not a lot at the moment. Sideways. Like everything, it's sideways at the minute. Hugely sideways. We've pushed down and gone sideways again. And it's all part of one massive sideways movement. What do you do with it? You're bang in the middle of a range. So you might as well flip a coin. Either go for that high or that low. It's going to get one of those. Nothing else you can do with it. It's just sideways. There was almost a signal yesterday to go short on H1 if you're using 70-30, but in fact, you probably would have got signaled on that. It was bang on 75. Sorry, 75, not 70-30. Yeah, so it's bang on that. Couldn't get on, though, because the reversal alert on this yesterday, if you remember, because it was a news event, the reversal alert was all the way down here. So you didn't get alerted until there. And by that time, the RSI was basically pretty much back down at the median. So yeah, not a lot on that. It's either going to hit that level or that level, but we've got no news catalyst today. So the market will just do what the market needs to do today to get orders executed, to get out of positions, just normal trading. So that could go anywhere. Nothing much happening. Still bearish on it. Yeah, that's fine. If you're bearish on it at the moment, got a couple of levels to scale into up to there and then wait for them to pull it back inside the range. It's just going sideways at the minute. There's no reason. So this is 2 months now. That's last month, previous month. Yeah. There's no reason for it to do anything else until either we or the US change our interest rates. There is equilibrium. There is no reason for us to be doing anything different. So just play the ranges at the minute. Sideways. Morning, Johannes. With the trending of Swiss and yen pairs that you are taking losses, squeezes, do you think this could occur more as we come out of the high interest rates over the next 12 months? Yeah, it will. If you look back at the moves we've had since interest rates started to rise. So if you go and look at when did we have the last interest rate change? 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Euro. That'll do. So if you look at the interest rates, they started going up in the middle of 2022. So basically we had 18 months of absolutely flat interest rates to absolutely screaming up. So when you go into a strong trend on something, we go back to 2022. We're going to have to look at daily, aren't we? Okay, so this is basically, well, actually, I suppose, see, this is tricky because it's COVID. So, but if you look at the interest rate changes, what you get is a trend. Yeah, as long as the market's doing that, we have no problem, because that's exactly what, as position trading, you want to see. You want to see a nice market structure so that you can get out on the profit take legs. That's not what we have had since we've had a lot of this crap and a lot of this crap where it just, that's it. There's no up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. If you're in a position in a squeeze, however long that squeeze is, if it retraces 50%, you cannot not get out. Yeah. So this is the whole point of position trading. The market moves in market structure. Market structure is a series of highs and lows. Yeah, higher highs, higher lows, lower lows, lower highs, etc., etc. To do that, it has to pull back between 38 to 50%, i.e., build a position, take profit on a partial move. Build a position, take profit on part of the move. Build a position, take profit on part of the move. In a squeeze, you get a strong move in one direction that has no profit take, and it's usually a fundamental shift. The difference with interest rates in the last 2 years to normal is everybody's been changing their interest rates. So the US dollar changes its interest rates. The US dollar squeezes everybody. Then the euro changes its interest rates and squeezes back. Then the US dollar changes its interest rates and squeezes everybody. Then the pound changes its interest rate and squeezes back. This is why you get this movement. As long as everybody does their interest rates at the same time, it'll be exactly the same as this. 2022, I made a fortune. Not a fortune, I just had a really good year. Normal, really good year. There's no reason why we shouldn't have exactly the same thing in 2024 when we start the interest rates. The problem at the moment is we're not. So what we've got is currencies which are weaker than other currencies, and there is no change. So you just get a constant move. This is what we're experiencing this month specifically. We didn't have it last month, but things will undo themselves. It's just at the moment the market isn't. This is a good example. The market is not in market structure. It's in panic. What the hell do we do now? Panic. What the hell do we do now? Panic. What the hell do we do now? Mode. There is none of that going on. That will come back when we have certainty of direction. We haven't got any certainty of direction at the moment because everybody is in the same boat, doing absolutely nothing. There's no bias. So when you have a no bias situation, you either go range bound. Yeah, if there is no bias. So that one I just showed you, we just looked at the pound US dollar. There is no bias. Therefore, all you get is sideways. Or there is bias, and that bias doesn't change, and you get a grind. Yeah. Can't do anything about it. The bias will change at some point, and you will get a pullback or a change in direction. So, yeah, grind. Yeah, but look at this. What is this? 68 retracement. Yeah. What is that? 50% retracement. That's normal. This is normal movement. It's just sometimes it takes a lot longer than normal because the market conditions are just not right. And this is where you have the losing months. If you go back and look at all my last live streams, I'm pointing to all my last live stream photos on the screen here, which you can't see. But if you go back through them, that's that set file I was looking for. So I just found a set file I was looking for. I put a set file on my desktop. Has anybody else had this? I put a set file on my desktop the other day, and it didn't appear. I couldn't find it anywhere. And yet when I looked in my desktop folder, I could see it, but it wasn't on the screen. And what it's done is it's popped it in between. So I've got a row of icons on the screen for stuff. And what it's done is it's moved one down and popped it in the middle. So I wouldn't look there. Anyway. But yeah, if you look through, this is last year. January, virtually nothing. February, didn't have a great month in February. No drawdown. That's February again. March, started getting a bit of drawdown. Great month. April, not a great month. Look at the drawdown. Yeah. Drawdown control. 11% drawdown control in 1 week. Yeah. We're in a squeeze. You can see that is drawdown control being done. You're going to get months where you just get squeezed. So this was in April. US dollar CAD in April last year. Where are we? June, March. Maybe it was that. It must have been that. It's probably, I would imagine the entry was in March. Yeah, we got squeezed, got out of a part of a position, and then got re-squeezed. And that is where the drawdown control was done. And remember, I've said this in here so many times. When you do drawdown control, like I'm doing today, I can almost guarantee within 48 hours that will happen. Because the market will always squeeze people to the point where they go, screw that, I'm out. And as soon as you go, screw that, I'm out, you know it's the point where they're going to do that. And it virtually always happens. If I get out of a load of Swiss and yen today, Monday, the yen will power up. The Swissy will power up. And everything will just go back to massive profit. But it'll be too late because I would have got out. But I cannot sustain any more drawdown. So, but those are the months you have where, you get to a point, January again, where you're going to get a month that just doesn't work. And then look at the month after. This is May. So that was April. Big drawdown, made 2% profit, was sitting in 13% of drawdown, normal. The next month, banked 19% and sitting in 9% of drawdown. Yeah, because all of those moves I was being squeezed on unfolded. So I bank a load. So you have this is what P&L, proper traders P&Ls look like this. Like a market structure. Because you're going to get into positions, you're going to make a load of money, you're going to get squeezed, you're going to get a load of money, you're going to get squeezed, you're going to get a load of money, you're going to get squeezed. Because you're moving the same way as the market does. That's what we do, isn't it? We're riding the waves of the market. As the market waves are stronger than we would like, we're not going to make money. And then we make money the next time. So this is why I pay myself quarterly, not monthly. Because you can't guarantee every month is going to be profitable. You're going to have months like this where you're just going to get squeezed to death. June, 9.4% loss, 23% a drawdown. Very similar to what we're in now. July, 24% profit, no drawdown at all. Yeah, 23% in drawdown to 24% profit. Squeezed, exiting the squeeze. Yeah, we are just in the squeeze at the moment. This is what this month is. So it's totally normal. The problem I'm having at the moment is obviously I'm managing 3 accounts, which is causing me headaches. Well, not headaches, but just like it looks so much worse than it is because everything is the same, isn't it? All the ADRs and the RSI extensions, it's the same trades I'm in twice. So it's double exposure, basically, isn't it? H1 hedging hit 47% last year, did it? Is that, oh, right, okay. Honestly, I can't remember. So we're not far off the max we got to last. But the difference is, it was doing automatic drawdown control, which I haven't been using. So I might put that back on because I'm just finding it quite difficult to manage all of this at the moment with everything else I have to do as well, like live. Just thinking, it's highest point of the move. Okay, just thinking if hedging is useful if pair enters into a trend. Yeah. But then you would just go one way, wouldn't you? You can't hedge in a trend, can you? Because trend is a directional bias. So if you have a directional bias, you don't trade against it. So it doesn't work for hedging. The whole point of hedging is you have no idea where it's going, so you go both ways. And whichever one works, you take, and then you deal with the one that isn't and turn it into a position trade. Morning champagne. So yeah, it's just up and down basically, hedging, which is why this is always, it's always big because when you're banking this, you will usually go into a similar amount of drawdown to what you've banked, because if you had a reversal alert go long and then you don't take that profit and you get a reversal alert to go short, what your job now is to do is to wait for one of those to get to a decent level, take it off, and then get a reversal alert to deal with the one that didn't work out, and just use the market structure in the same way as we do with a normal position trade, except we're banking along the way. But it also means we are wrong all the time, which is why that is that. And this is the thing, you use that to pay for that, as it's doing now. Look, so DD control number 1 done today. The new EA is running as well. I want to make sure. Yeah, I did put the right balance in on that. So I'm trying to get this thing to break. I need something to hit 2% of drawdown. So I've tried again this morning to get it into drawdown, and I can't. It's really annoying. Isn't it funny? When you want it to go into drawdown because you need to test drawdown control functionality, it won't do it. When you don't want to go into drawdown because you're doing it all manually, it goes mental. They're watching. I don't look at the indices. So DAX, sorry, I didn't look at the indices at all this morning. I was off on focusing on other things. Couldn't get out of the FTSE yesterday. So the DAX yesterday was a clean break to 5R. The FTSE was a hedge. I couldn't get out of the FTSE at all. No trade on the DAX today and no trade on the FTSE. Oh, so no trades today. So pre-market range is too tight and the opening range was too big. Same with the FTSE. Look, pre-market range absolutely tiny, opening range massive, over 20% of ADR. So no trades on either today. That's nice and simple, isn't it? Look at that whipsaw. This is the other thing I'm noticing. This strategy is driving me mental at the moment. It's just not working. It is working. It's working exactly in the back as I saw in the back tests, and I knew it was going to do this. But it goes through periods of stagnation when the market has got no, when the market's doing this, and that's what we've got at the moment, isn't it? The market is doing this. So at the moment, it's very hard to make money with this. This has made me a loss this month. So no trades on that today. We need to wait for the market to return to normal. I'm going to recode the SIHEA to put automatic re-hedging in as well. That's on my list to do after I've finished testing on the other EA. Right, the likes. Morning, Franco. Need some thumb bug? Oh, thumb bing. Oh, thumbing. Thumb bing, I read that as. Thumb bing. Right. So I just shut some of these screenshots down. So has anybody got any other pairs I want to have a look at? There's not an awful lot really to look at today, as I say, because we've got no ADRs, we've got no RSIs. Nothing much is moving, and not really expecting a huge amount of movement today. So it's difficult really to look at anything specific. But if there's anything you want to look at, or any DD you're in, or any positions you're in you want to go through, let me know. Discord channel, there's not an awful lot going on in there either. Some people have been talking in the in a couple of the rooms, but a bit quiet in there at the minute. Morning, Champagne. I've already said that. Morning, Neo, if I haven't already said that. Next week, the 27th, comes out CPI news for Japan. We'll have to see. Yeah. So next week, we've got, mind you, the CPI figures for Japan. Where are they then? Which day are we getting that? There's no CPI for Japan next week. That's the week after, the 4th of March. That's the week after next. But Ada speaking as well. Ordinarily, that's orange because interest inflation doesn't make any difference when your interest rate has been negative 0.1 for nearly 7 years. So that's why that's an orange figure. So they should really change that to red, because now Japanese are saying that they are going to start using interest rates as an inflation control mechanism. So that is going to be as important as everybody else's CPI. So they really changed the color of that. But yeah, that comes out on the 4th. But I mean, I would be very surprised if we are waiting until the 4th for a move on the yen, because if that US dollar keeps popping as it is today, the Japanese are not going to wait until the 4th of March. This thing will be told off before that. But we'll see how this high holds up today. That is kind of the line in the sand, that 150.860. And then we've literally got $1 to go up to 151. And that is the all-time high. That is where the interventions were all kicked in last time. So there's literally 2 ADR before we get to the... We haven't been above that level before. And every time we've got anywhere near 150, the Japanese have kicked it down, haven't they? So this is higher than normal, which is why I've been holding on to it. But swaps. This is the thing. Half of this bloody drawdown at the moment is swaps. My US dollar yen swaps are just off the chart. I mean, literally $250, $200, $180, $174, $150, $140, $130. Yeah, I mean, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got $1,300 of swaps, just on what you can see on the screen there, without all the others further down. I got $2,000 of that. Literally is swap, because I've been holding this thing. 2 years ago, that would have cost me $200. But interest rates are like that now. When we were trading before, they were 0. So maybe it is time to start kicking the yen into touch. I don't know. I need to do some maths. Pound Swiss. Sideways. So we're coming up to last week's high, which is also ADR today. So if we push up to there, that'd be a good looking short opportunity. It's not quite extended on the RSI. Last entry I had was there, out on that pullback from the news. But yeah, coming up to a nice high, last week's high. We get some limit orders triggering there. That's what happened last time. So we know the sellers at that point. Failing that, it's tricky. There's so many old levels coming up. But yeah, that would be the best short opportunity, I think, giving it a little bit more wiggle room up to those highs. The Swiss franc looks like it's dying again today, so it is going to get stopped out on all these Swissies. Just can't get any traction, the Swissy. It's just getting killed. Lovely rejection on the Aussie yen. Aussie Swiss, rather. That looks like the Australian dollar is weakening. Yeah. So weakness on the Aussie dollar this morning. New Zealand dollar might be coming down as well. Yeah. So all the Australasian pairs weak this morning. In 3 pairs, all stagnant. Yeah. Pound US dollar, definitely stagnant. And the 28th Aussie and New Zealand news. Financial Juice says the 27th. Is that? No? Not on mine, it doesn't anyway. Oh, it hasn't got March the 6th in there, on there. I just like this because it's so easy to read this. Financial Juice, I always find there's so much other stuff in Financial Juice. That just confuses me and makes it messy. So I just always use Forex Factory, but always have done. I've always used Forex Factory. What you said yesterday, US dollar, take advantage of the yen, bank holiday today. US dollar is up at the moment, yeah. The US dollar is up across the board. It's not, they're not taking advantage of the yen. This is just the US dollar rallying at the moment today. But again, you know, this is just one candle, yeah. Same as that was one candle, and then it came back down again from that one candle. Yeah, we had a couple of candles up there, and then we had a collapse. So don't read anything into this yet. You know, it's a long way to go to ADR. And obviously it is the London session. So we'll see what happens in New York. But this is what the focus is at the minute. This high, I want to see what happens at yesterday's high. Because yesterday's high was a rejection of this previous level. So when we had that big news event, we pushed up. The Japanese started screaming. Market pulled back, pushed up again, got pushed back, pushed up, pushed back. We went into that symmetrical triangle pattern, and it broke to the upside. So this test today is a case of, is this an upside break, or is this just part of this range? We'll find out literally the next hour. There is always a possibility the Bank of Japan will do nothing. They have never not done something. They've got a lot of power at the moment. They've set the stable that they're going to increase interest rates, which is going to rally the yen. Yeah, so they've already said that last year. We're looking at increasing interest rates. They said it last week. Interest rates, we're definitely looking at going up sometime soon, possibly in April. They said, which will be before the US drops theirs. So they've got that to use at any point. They could just come out at any point and say February the 26th, or no, I can't say that. It's next week, but March the 15th or whatever. They'll just suddenly come out and go, interest rates are going up then. Or they will just liquidate and drive it down. Or they could do nothing. It's just that they don't do nothing, because just think you've got to think about it as if this is you, yeah? So this is you, and at this line here, you can't afford your mortgage, you're going to lose your house. But you have an opportunity to sell your car. What would you do? Would you lose your house, i.e. let your economy go into free fall because you can't transact overseas? Or would you sell all your overseas bonds, make a little bit of a loss on them, but be able to pay your mortgage? That's how the Japanese are thinking right now. Yeah. We can't sustain business above 150. It's not economical. So that's what they're thinking. And this is why I find it very difficult to believe that they will not do something about it. And this is why you see, I mean, I'm not making this up. We see it in here, don't we? We've got evidence in here. They come on, and I've said it for the last 2 years. If you go back and watch live streams, every time the Japanese yen, you could time it. Go look at your chart. Go back and watch the live streams. Every time the Japanese yen has got close to 145 or 150, and watch the live streams. Watch what I'm saying in the live streams. Watch the news I'm showing you on the screen in Financial Juice in the live streams when we get to these levels. The Japanese come out and tell us that they are going to intervene. They intervene, and then they say, wasn't us. They've done it for decades because they've always controlled their finances differently to everybody else. They don't use interest rates in the same way as the rest of the world. So they have to use overseas assets to control their currency. The problem is there's two parties involved, and the US are the stronger party. They're the biggest, they're the largest currency in the world. I can't remember the exact percentages, but it's miles over 50% of all transactions worldwide are done and conducted in the US dollar, regardless of what country you live in. Yeah, you go and buy anything from anywhere on the web that is not based in your country, most of the time you'll be paying US dollars. You know, so it's just the way it is. I haven't seen them not intervene before, but we'll see. 152, isn't it? 152 was the highest point last year, yeah. But 150 is the line in the sand on 145. Those are the lines in the sand when you go back and watch the live streams, yeah. 145, all of a sudden, I'm going through the news as I have done for years in YouTube. I go through the news and all of a sudden Suzuki will say, we are closely monitoring FX movements. And I'm like, here we go. Have a look at the US dollar yen approaching 145. We pop over 145. FX movements are considered blah, 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 whatever it may be that they say. Yeah, but they do it all the time, constantly. It's just their mechanism for, it's like a child throwing its toys out the pram. That's what they do, basically. But it's the 145 level, it becomes uncomfortable. It's like position trading, yeah? 145 is like their 15% in drawdown, yeah? 150 is like their 25% in drawdown. 152 is like, I got to do something about this. Yeah, 152 is the highest point we ever got to. But normally, if you look back at the intervention moves, they're always 145 and 150. If they fail, as they did last time, that 152 is like the, screw you guys, we're selling everything. Yeah. It's like, right, sell the car, sell the kids, sell the furniture, sell the kitchen, sell the toilet, sell the kitchen sink. Yeah, get rid of everything. We need cash, because if we don't, we can't pay the mortgage. What do? They pay the mortgage. And then everyone goes, whoops, because they all got killed. All the banks have gone into 800 ADR of drawdown on their positions, and they know that it's only one place that's going. Yeah, so what do? Liquidate and flip, which powers it up and drives it back down again. It's just simple economics and profit taking. What goes on under the hood. But this is the thing you can't time. You cannot time this because you're not in control of it. You just have to wait. And if you time it wrong, as I have in this case, it just costs you money. As I'm finding out with the bloody swaps. Do you think the JPY lost its safe haven character? I don't know. We haven't had a safe haven run, so difficult to tell, isn't it, until we have a safe haven run. So I mean, we haven't had one for a long time, so it's difficult to tell. If something escalates in Ukraine or it kicks off in the Middle East, we'll find out. Because if the Swiss powers up and the yen doesn't, we know that it has. If the yen powers up and the Swiss powers up, we know that they're still the safe havens. But and gold used to be a safe haven, but it's not anymore because you can't get it because Russia's got it all, and we can't export or import to Russia. So gold has lost its status. So something else has got to take that place. I imagine it will probably be the Swiss franc, but we'll see. We'll find out the next time there's a problem. But we haven't had a problem for ages, have we? So can we look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar? Yeah. So that's rolling over at the moment. So we had a reverse alert on that yesterday on the hourly, which is currently retesting. So if we break that low from yesterday, which is there, that'll be a nice head and shoulders break, targeting propulsion to the downside. Not extended at the moment. So there was an entry there. I didn't get that on for some reason, but there was an entry there. Wouldn't have moved far enough to get out if you got in less than half an ADR. So yeah, but again, you know, this is again prime example that there was an entry there short. Look how far we've gone in like 3 days. We've had half an ADR of movement in 3 days. It's just pitiful. It's just absolutely pitiful. And we've had news. Can't do anything with it, can you? They might be fearing the fact that being already in recession, rising the rates, even from just -1 to 0, might hit the economy even harder. Yeah, I mean, the thing with finances and with economics is it changes so fast. The situations change so fast that you have to be on the ball, and this is why we're constantly looking at. This is why we follow this, because it literally, the news event that comes out, that CAD completely changed the outlook of the Canadian dollar. It's like, whew, that's coming down fast. Right, we know they're not going to go before the US, but looks like June now. Why? Because of that. On Monday, we were looking at it and going, CAD still the same. Tuesday, it's like, everybody sell the CAD. Yeah, it changes that quick. And something can change, and there could be an invasion of Taiwan from China or something. You know, there's so many things that can flip it and make their decision-making process different. But the problem with the Japanese specifically is they say a lot of stuff, but then they just don't do it, which causes them problems because the market reacts to news. The market watches this. The market listens to talking heads for guidance, which you have to do. Yeah, it's responsible for the central banks to tell everybody what their plans are because they need the money. They need the influx of capital to help the plans play out. So if the Bank of England says we're going to put the interest rates up probably 0.25% over the next 3 months, everybody goes, right, we need to stick some money in the pound. If they don't do it, we're going to pull it all out. So it's in their interest to do what they say, as long as the fundamentals allow. With the Japanese, it's never been that way. They've said, we're going to do something. And then they come out the next day and go, no, only joking. We're not going to do that now. And it's like the market. We had an instance last year where we had like a 300% drop in the yen. And then the next day it was back up where it was because they said something. And then they came out overnight and said, no, that's not what we meant. We're like, well, you should have said it a little clearer, shouldn't you? Because all the banks bought the yen like crazy. And then the next day they sold everything back again. But that's what they do. Just annoying. And the problem at the moment is it's the most expensive thing on the planet to trade as well, which compounds the problem, doesn't it? All bark and no bite, exactly. All mouth and no trousers. That's what they are. But when they do bite, they really bite. So right. So I'm doing more testing today on this, hopefully, and I'm waiting for this to actually get into drawdown. At pound yen, I could probably try and get another. This isn't in order. What? Yes, it is. Let's take another sell on that. I'm just trying to get something to go into 2% of drawdown so I can make sure that it does drawdown control. Yeah, but this is probably all going to come down, isn't it? I shouldn't be so blasé about hitting the buttons on this, should I? Because this is actually a real account. This is $1,000. I'm treating it as if it's a demo because it's only a tiny amount of money, but I'm just hitting buttons. I just suddenly realised when I hit that button, I was like, actually, that's cash. It's real money. But I'm fully expecting to, this is, I don't mind if this goes pop. It's not going to go pop because all they ever do is bloody margin call me. So it can't go pop because they shut me out as soon as I get to $350 in drawdown. But anyway, so that's got 3 on now. That's good. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. We'll see what happens, but not a massive amount of movement so far today. There's no ADRs, so we're just waiting to see if something moves today, really. But everything's just stuck sideways at the minute, so we will see where we go. Anything you need, I'll be in Telegram and Discord. Other than that, I will be back this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and we will just have a look at see if anything's moved, basically. But the live room this afternoon is probably going to be fairly short. It's Friday afternoon. If we've had no movement, so it's 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if we've had no movement today, the live room this afternoon is going to be not a lot to look at, really. It's the same as this morning. So basically, I'll say to everybody, go and watch this morning because there's nothing else happening. So if we haven't had any movement, we haven't got any ADRs, those RSIs will probably be gone. So there'll literally be nothing to look at because we're just going sideways. So we'll just have to come back on Monday. So today, obviously, going to keep an eye on this, depending on what happens with the yen today, or the US yen, rather. We've got Euro news coming out in a second. Let's just see if that happens. Anything happens on that. Unlikely. It is just the business climate. Hardly even ticking. Look, 10 seconds on the news. There we go. News is out. Oof, look at it go. I'd imagine that was an 85.4. Should we go for 85.4? 85.6? When you're ready. 85.5. Oh, there you go. Exactly as expected. So there you go. That's a non-event. So kind of sums the day up. So that's today's news gone. So new home sales on Monday. There's no other news next week. So I'll put the live room schedule for next week up this weekend. I might do it today, actually. I don't know. I'll see how I get on. But I'll put the next live room schedule up. I'll post it in Discord and Telegram when I put a new updated schedule on. But on no news days, I'm probably just going to do one stream a day. And then everything else will be scheduled around the news. So we can actually be here and watch what's going on. And because at the moment, this is the only time we're getting movement, really, isn't it? When something is happening. There's no point in sitting here watching paint dry. Might as well go and paint the walls and do something productive, which is what I'll be doing this weekend in the bathroom. Right, I'll be off. I'll see you guys this afternoon if you're here. If not, I'll be back on Monday. Have a good day. I can't turn the stream off. I've put the stream behind Discord. I'm going now. Bye.